Now, Article 12 is a very important article when it deals with advertising because it is one that is constantly in motion as technology changes the approach we have towards advertising in our industry. Now, this is where not your savviness when it comes to social media comes into play. It does to some extent, but also the savviness of your clients when it comes to their use of social media. So, how many of you are on Facebook? How many of you are pretty sure that at some point one of your children set up an account for you on Facebook, but you have never actually gone there? How many of you tweet? How many of you are Foursquare? LinkedIn. Love it. Oh, I'm supposed to be on that one too, aren't I? How many of you have a website? Not a brokerage website, but a website of your own that's devoted to your practice? That's pretty good. I mean, we're where we need to be. Now, Standard of Practice 12.5 was amended last year to take into consideration changes that were happening in the industry when it came to short posts, like tweets that are limited in characters, the amount of space that makes sense on Facebook because it's limited on how much you see on a mobile device. Those types of things were taken into consideration. And the way that it was changed is we have an obligation within Article 12 to disclose you're a real estate agent, and then to disclose that you have a boss and who that boss is through the brokerage. And when 12-5 went into place for the standard of practice, it implemented a one-click rule. It's okay not to have it in the tweet with its limited amount of space as long as you have a link back to the entire disclosure being made. That's okay under the Code of Ethics. The question that comes into play for you is it okay with your regulatory body that advertises or that regulates your advertising? And the question is, we don't know yet. Some states' regulatory bodies have issued very strong statements. One click is okay. Virginia has said one click is okay. A few other states have issued one click is okay. Other states have very clearly said one click is not okay. Full disclosure must be made in the tweet. And the state that I always use an example are our friends in Minnesota. And our friends in Minnesota, their regulatory body hired 3 staff people in the middle of a budget crisis. Hired 3 staff people, and those people's sole job is to follow licensees in social media. They friend on Facebook, they fan on Facebook, they follow on Twitter. They want to be your connect, your contact, they'll Google+. They want to know what you're saying, how you're saying it, and are you making the proper disclosures. They follow the Realtors Associations on their Twitter feed to make sure that they're following the rules. So before you decide to jump in, you need to know, what do I need to be doing to make sure that I'm following the rules, not only from my regulatory body, but from my association, and most importantly, from my broker. How many of you have discussed with your broker what you put on your Facebook page? How many of you took my class at MAR Convention where I told you that's the one thing I wanted you to do after you left? You did it, right? That's important because they're responsible and legally liable for what you're saying. And so they need to know what you're saying and where you're saying it. So outside of the scope of 12.5, we have this standard of practice in 12.8. And 12.8 is the obligation to present a true picture and representation to the public. It includes information presented, provided, or displayed on realtors' websites. This is key right here. This is the big stuff. Realtors shall use reasonable efforts to ensure that information on their websites is current. When it becomes apparent that information on a realtor's website is no longer current or accurate, realtors shall promptly take corrective action.
That include photos?
His question, in case you didn't hear it, was, does that include photos? So for those of you who still have, we all know that was a glamour shot taken at the mall in 1985.